Which famous composer, though better known for other works, wrote the music for several films including Bitter Springs and Scott of the Antarctic? Ralph Vaughan Williams. Ralph Vaughan Williams was a distinguished English composer known for his symphonies, operas, and chamber music, often incorporating English folk tunes. His atmospheric score for Scott of the Antarctic, 1948, was later adapted into his powerful Symphony No. 7, Sinfonia Antarctica. Which English painter, the co-founder and first president of the Royal Academy, was the principal court painter to George III? Sir Joshua Reynolds. Sir Joshua Reynolds was a highly influential English painter and a leading portraitist of the 18th century. He played a crucial role in establishing the Royal Academy of Arts in London in 1768, serving as its first president, and was also the principal court painter to King George III. Which Dutch painter, famous for his portraits, was the principal court painter to Charles II? Sir Peter Lely. Sir Peter Lely was a prominent Dutch painter, best known for his portraits. He served as the principal court painter to King Charles II of England, becoming the dominant portraitist in England from the 1660s until his death. Yale University took its name from Elihu Yale because, as a very wealthy man, he became its chief benefactor. Yale accumulated his substantial wealth while working for around 30 years for which organization? East India Company. Elihu Yale was a wealthy merchant and benefactor of the collegiate school, which was renamed Yale College in his honor in 1718. He amassed his fortune primarily through his long career with the East India Company, serving in various capacities including Governor of Fort St. George in Madras. What is Scotland's deepest loch? Loch Morar. Loch Morar is a freshwater loch in the Highlands of Scotland. It is the deepest freshwater body in Scotland and the UK, reaching a maximum depth of 310 meters, 1017 feet, making it a significant geographical feature. The largest living thing is a Californian redwood tree nicknamed General Sherman. It is 275 feet high. How many tons is the tree estimated to weigh? 1385. The General Sherman tree is a giant sequoia, Sequoiadendron giganteum, located in Sequoia National Park, California. It is the largest known living single-stem tree on Earth by volume, estimated to weigh around 1,385 tons, making it a natural wonder and a key example of biodiversity. Who defeated Adlai Stevenson in the U.S. presidential election in November 1952? Dwight D. Eisenhower. Dwight D. Eisenhower, a celebrated World War II general, won the U.S. presidential election in November 1952, defeating Democratic candidate Adlai Stevenson. This victory marked the first time a Republican had won the presidency in 2 decades, ushering in a period of conservative governance. Which 2 countries, who would come close to war in 1974, joined NATO on the same day in 1952? Greece and Turkey. Greece and Turkey both joined NATO on February 18, 1952, as part of the alliance's expansion during the Cold War. Despite their alliance within NATO, these 2 countries experienced significant political tensions and nearly went to war over the Cyprus issue in 1974. Which 77-year-old German-born missionary won the 1952 Nobel Peace Prize? Albert Schweitzer. Albert Schweitzer, a German-born Alsatian polymath, received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1952 for his philosophy of reverence for life and his humanitarian work as a missionary physician in Africa. He established the Albert Schweitzer Hospital in Lambaréné, Gabon, dedicating his life to medicine, theology, and music. Navigation work on the Volga-Don Canal was started in April 1952, ultimately connecting which 2 seas? Black Sea, or Sea of Azov, and Caspian Sea. The Volga-Don Canal, an important engineering feat, connects the Volga River and the Don River. Completed in 1952, it provides a navigable waterway linking the Black Sea, via the Sea of Azov, and the Caspian Sea, significantly enhancing trade and transportation in the region. In March 1952, General Fulgencio Batista retook control of which Caribbean country after a military coup? Cuba. Fulgencio Batista led a military coup in March 1952, overthrowing the elected government of Cuba and establishing a dictatorial regime. This event significantly destabilized Cuban politics and paved the way for the Cuban Revolution. Which town on the North Devon coast was devastated by a flash flood in August 1952? Lynmouth. The town of Lynmouth in North Devon, England, was severely impacted by a catastrophic flash flood in August 1952. This natural disaster, caused by exceptional rainfall, led to significant loss of life and widespread destruction, highlighting the vulnerability of coastal communities to extreme weather. Which American colony became a self-governing commonwealth and an unincorporated territory of the USA in July 1952? Puerto Rico. In July 1952, Puerto Rico transitioned from an American colony to a self-governing commonwealth and an unincorporated territory of the USA. This change granted Puerto Rico greater autonomy over its internal affairs while maintaining its political ties with the United States. Which European capital city hosted the 1952 Summer Olympics? Helsinki. Helsinki, the capital of Finland, had the honor of hosting the 15th Summer Olympic Games in 1952. These games were notable as the first Summer Olympics held after World War II in which both West Germany and the Soviet Union participated. What was the surname of the Scottish mathematician who discovered logarithms in 1613? Napier. John Napier, a Scottish mathematician, is renowned for inventing logarithms in 1613. His groundbreaking work simplified complex arithmetic calculations, particularly for astronomy and engineering, revolutionizing scientific computations. Britain's first stretch of motorway, opened in December 1958, bypassed which town, now officially a city? Preston. Britain's inaugural stretch of motorway, the Preston Bypass, now part of the M6, was opened in December 1958. This pioneering piece of infrastructure aimed to alleviate traffic congestion around Preston, marking a significant milestone in the development of the UK's modern road network. Russian Alexei Leonov was the first man to do what, albeit for just 10 minutes, on the 18th of March 1965? Walk in space. On March 18, 1965, Russian cosmonaut Alexei Leonov achieved a historic milestone by becoming the first person to conduct a spacewalk. During the Voskhod 2 mission, he spent about 10 minutes outside his spacecraft, marking a crucial step in human space exploration. What is the three-word collective name given to the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution drafted in 1789? Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution are collectively known as the Bill of Rights. Drafted in 1789 and ratified in 1791, these amendments enumerate fundamental rights and civil liberties, such as freedom of speech, religion, and the right to due process. Which was Charles Dickens' first published novel, serialized in 20 monthly parts from April 1836? The Pickwick Papers. Asterisk The Pickwick Papers asterisk, officially asterisk The Posthumous Papers of the Pickwick Club asterisk, was Charles Dickens' first novel. It was serialized from 1836 to 1837 and established his literary reputation, blending humor, social commentary, and character development that became hallmarks of his later works. Which Spanish conquistador successfully crossed Panama in 1513, becoming the first European to see the Pacific Ocean from the New World? Vasco Núñez de Balboa. Vasco Núñez de Balboa was a Spanish explorer, governor, and conquistador. In 1513, he led an expedition across the Isthmus of Panama, becoming the first European to sight the Pacific Ocean from the shores of the New World, claiming it and all its lands for Spain. What was the surname of the man who patented the ballpoint pen in 1943? Biro. Laszlo Biro, a Hungarian journalist, patented the first commercially successful ballpoint pen in 1943. His invention significantly improved upon earlier designs, providing a cleaner and more reliable writing instrument compared to fountain pens, revolutionizing everyday writing. Another place, a modern sculpture consisting of 100 cast iron figures facing out to sea on Crosby Beach near Liverpool, is by which artist? Antony Gormley. Another place is a renowned permanent public artwork by British sculptor Antony Gormley, located on Crosby Beach. It comprises 100 identical cast iron figures, modeled on the artist's own body, gazing silently towards the horizon, reflecting themes of humanity's relationship with nature and the sublime. What were the birth and death years of the French artist Édouard Manet? 1832 to 1883. Édouard Manet was a pivotal figure in the transition from realism to impressionism, active from 1832 to 1883. His works, such as Olympia and Déjeuner sur le Herbe, were controversial in their time but are now considered foundational to modern art, influencing subsequent generations of artists. In Gustav Holst's The Planet Suite, which planet is described as the magician in the title of its movement? Uranus. The Planet Suite is a 7-movement orchestral suite by the English composer Gustav Holst. Each movement represents a different planet and its associated astrological character. The movement for Uranus is subtitled The Magician, reflecting its unpredictable and mystical qualities. What was the first name of the poet W. H. Auden? Whiston. W. H. Auden, Whiston Hugh Auden, was a renowned British-American poet, active throughout the 20th century. He is celebrated for his masterful technique, intellectual depth, and exploration of themes such as love, politics, and religion, winning the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry in 1948. Which Liverpool art gallery, opened in 1877, was named after the local brewer and former Lord Mayor who financed it? Walker Art Gallery. The Walker Art Gallery is a prominent art institution in Liverpool, England. Opened in 1877, it was named after its benefactor, Sir Andrew Barclay Walker, a wealthy brewer and former Lord Mayor, who generously funded its construction. Call me Ishmael are the opening words of which famous 19th century novel? Moby Dick. The renowned opening line, Call me Ishmael, belongs to Herman Melville's epic novel, Moby Dick. Published in 1851, this American classic details Captain Ahab's obsessive hunt for a white whale and is celebrated for its profound themes and literary impact. The Halle Orchestra has been based in which English city since its formation in 1858? Manchester. The Halle Orchestra, one of the world's oldest professional symphonic ensembles, was founded in Manchester, England, in 1858 by German pianist and conductor Sir Charles Halle. It continues to be a cornerstone of the city's cultural landscape and a significant institution in British classical music. Stretching from Winchester in the west to Eastbourne in the east, which is England's newest national park, established in April 2011? South Downs. The South Downs National Park, established in April 2011, is England's newest national park, known for its iconic chalk downs, ancient woodlands, and river valleys. It stretches across Sussex, Hampshire, and East Sussex, offering diverse landscapes and rich biodiversity. Which river, which flows into the Irish Sea between Lytham St. Anne's and Southport, marked the northernmost extent of the ancient kingdom of Mercia? Ribble. The River Ribble is a significant river in northern England, flowing into the Irish Sea. Historically, it marked the northernmost boundary of the ancient Anglo-Saxon kingdom of Mercia, distinguishing it from the northern kingdom of Northumbria. Eurostar trains from London to Paris and Brussels have two possible stops in England before entering the Channel Tunnel. Name either. Ebbsfleet and Ashford. Eurostar trains connect London with Paris and Brussels, utilizing the Channel Tunnel. Before entering the tunnel, key English stops include Ebbsfleet International in Kent and Ashford International, serving as crucial hubs for passengers traveling to mainland Europe. What is the two-digit country calling code for the United Kingdom from abroad? 44. The international dialing code for the United Kingdom, including England, is +44. This prefix is essential when making telephone calls to numbers within the UK from outside the country. Which is the most easterly of the 5 boroughs that make up the metropolitan county of Merseyside? St Helens. St Helens is one of the 5 metropolitan boroughs within the county of Merseyside in northwest England. It is situated to the east of Liverpool and is historically known for its glass-making industry. What is the name of the 28-acre recreational lake in Hyde Park, London, created by George II's royal gardener in 1730? The Serpentine. The Serpentine is a prominent ornamental lake in Hyde Park, London, formed in 1730 by Queen Caroline, wife of King George II. It is a popular recreational area, offering boating and swimming, and is a famous landmark within the royal park. There are just 2 towns in Rutland, Oakham, the county town, and which other, best known for its 428-year-old public school? Uppingham. Rutland is England's smallest historic county, with its county town being Oakham. Uppingham is the other significant town, renowned for Uppingham School, a prestigious independent school founded in 1584. Cleve Hill, at 330 meters, is the highest point in which range of hills in southwestern and west-central England? Cotswolds. Cleve Hill, with an elevation of 330 meters, is the highest point of the Cotswolds AONB, area of outstanding natural beauty. The Cotswolds are a range of rolling hills in southwestern and west-central England, famous for their picturesque villages and limestone escarpments. Which state has the longest coastline and 75% of the active volcanoes in the USA? Alaska. Alaska is the largest U.S. state by area and boasts the longest coastline in the United States, exceeding the combined length of all other states. It is also home to approximately 75% of the active volcanoes in the USA, largely due to its location along the Pacific Ring of Fire. In 2002, which Secretary of Defense explained about known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown unknowns in a speech referring to terrorism? Donald Rumsfeld. In 2002, then U.S. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld gained notoriety for his explanation of known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown unknowns in a press briefing concerning the search for weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. This statement became a famous example of political rhetoric and epistemology. Which ballet by Aaron Copland, first performed in 1944, contains a mountain range and a season in its name and tells the story of a celebration of the building of a Pennsylvanian farmhouse? Appalachian Spring. Appalachian Spring is a ballet and orchestral suite by American composer Aaron Copland, originally choreographed by Martha Graham. It premiered in 1944 and earned Copland the Pulitzer Prize for Music. The work depicts a pioneer celebration of spring around a newly built Pennsylvania farmhouse. including a unit of time and named after the rapid deployment troops used by the American forces in the War of Independence. What name was given to the intercontinental ballistic missiles first deployed in 1962 at the height of the Cold War? Minuteman. The LGM-30 Minuteman is a land-based intercontinental ballistic missile (ICBM) system, first deployed by the United States in 1962 during the Cold War. It was named after the Minutemen militia of the American Revolutionary War, known for their readiness to fight at a moment's notice. The Minuteman missiles are a crucial part of the US nuclear triad. In the UK, 999 is the emergency number for police, ambulance, fire service, coast guard, mountain rescue, and which other specialized emergency service? Cave rescue. In the United Kingdom, 999 is the primary emergency telephone number for police, ambulance, fire, coast guard, mountain rescue, and cave rescue services. This unified system allows individuals to contact various emergency agencies depending on the nature of the incident. Cave rescue teams are specialized voluntary organizations that respond to incidents in underground environments. In which decade was the telephone invented? 1870s. The telephone was primarily developed in the 1870s. Alexander Graham Bell is widely credited with inventing the first practical telephone, receiving the first US patent for the device in March 1876. This invention revolutionized communication and laid the groundwork for modern telecommunications. Provide any year within the lifespan of Owain Glynd. 1346-1416. Owain Glynd, circa 1346-circa 1416, was a Welsh warrior and the last native-born Prince of Wales. He led a fierce but ultimately unsuccessful revolt against English rule in the early 15th century, known as the Glynd Rising. He remains a significant figure in Welsh history and a symbol of Welsh nationalism. At 536 meters, Foel CW McEwen is the highest point of which range of Welsh hills? Preasley Hills. Foel CW McEwen is the highest point in the Preasley Hills, also known as Preasley Mountains, in Pembrokeshire, West Wales, standing at 536 meters above sea level. This ancient range is famous for its blue stones, which were quarried and transported to form the inner circle of Stonehenge. The area is also known for its archaeological sites and natural beauty. Brian Josephson, 1973, Clive Granger, 2003, and John Horton, 2007, are Welsh Nobel Prize winners. Who was the first Welshman to be awarded a Nobel Prize for Literature in 1950, a philosopher born in Monmouthshire in 1872 who championed humanitarian ideals and freedom of thought? Bertrand Russell. Bertrand Russell, a prominent British philosopher, logician, and social critic, received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1950. He was recognized for his diverse and significant writings in which he consistently championed humanitarian ideals and freedom of thought, influencing generations of thinkers. Who was the leader of the forces defeated in the Battle of Watling Street in 61 AD? Boudica. Boudica, queen of the Iceni tribe, led a major revolt against Roman rule in Britain in 60 or 61 AD. Her forces were decisively defeated by the Roman governor Gaius Suetonius Paulinus in the Battle of Watling Street, a pivotal event that solidified Roman control over southern Britain. Which two roads now follow the vast majority of the old Watling Street, running from Dover to Wroxeter? A2 and A5. Watling Street was a major Roman road in Britain, originally connecting Dover to Wroxeter. Today, parts of this historic route are followed by modern roads, primarily the A2 and A5, showcasing the enduring legacy of Roman infrastructure in the UK. At the southern end of Watling Street lies Dover Castle. Operation Dynamo was masterminded from here in May-June 1940. How is Operation Dynamo better known? Dunkirk evacuations. Operation Dynamo was the code name for the evacuation of Allied soldiers from the beaches and harbour of Dunkirk, France, between May 26 and June 4, 1940, during World War II. This massive operation, often referred to as the Dunkirk evacuation, saved over 338,000 soldiers and was a crucial event in the war. Which other 230-mile pre-Roman road crosses Watling Street at a point called High Cross in Warwickshire? Fosse Way. The Fosse Way is another significant ancient road in Britain, largely following the route of a Roman defensive ditch. It crosses Watling Street at High Cross in Warwickshire, highlighting the intricate network of roads developed during Roman times for military and administrative purposes. Standing side by side in Stony Stratford on Watling Street are two ancient coaching inns. In the 18th century, travellers' tales became embellished as they passed between the two establishments, and the emanating tales began to be called after them, a practice continued to this day. What are the two inns called? Cock and Bull. The phrase, cock and bull story, is said to originate from two coaching inns in Stony Stratford, the Cock and the Bull. Travellers would embellish their tales as they moved between the two establishments, leading to the expression for an improbable or absurd story. In the 1990 Oscar-winning film, Dances with Wolves, John Dunbar befriends Indians calling themselves Lakota. To which tribe of Plains Indians did the Lakota belong? Sioux. The Lakota are a prominent sub-tribe of the Sioux, a large group of Native American tribes and First Nations peoples. Historically, they were Plains Indians primarily located in the northern Great Plains of North America, known for their distinct culture and warrior traditions. What three colors were first flown by Libyan rebels and subsequently adopted as the national flag, replacing the all-green flag used under Colonel Gaddafi's rule? Red, black, green. The red, black, and green flag, featuring a white crescent and star, was originally the flag of the Kingdom of Libya, 1951 to 1969. It was re-adopted by rebels during the 2011 civil war to symbolize a break from Muammar Gaddafi's regime and a return to the country's pre-Gaddafi identity. What is the common name for the subatomic particle, evidence of which was claimed to be found by scientists at the Large Hadron Collider in December 2011? Higgs boson. The Higgs boson is an elementary particle in the Standard Model of particle physics, associated with the Higgs field. Its existence was proposed to explain why some fundamental particles have mass, and its discovery at CERN's Large Hadron Collider in 2012, with initial evidence in 2011, was a monumental achievement in physics. Based on the reported national debt of approximately 340 billion euros, what was the approximate debt per capita in Greece during the period of the Eurozone crisis? 33,000 euros. The Eurozone debt crisis, particularly impacting Greece, was a major economic event in the early 2010s. High sovereign debt and significant budget deficits led to international bailouts and severe austerity measures, dramatically increasing the per capita debt burden for Greek citizens. What economic policy, analogous to Thatcherism in the UK, was implemented in the United States during the 1980s? Reaganomics. Reaganomics refers to the economic policies promoted by US President Ronald Reagan during the 1980s. These policies primarily involved supply-side economics, characterized by widespread tax cuts, reduced government spending, deregulation, and a tightening of the money supply to combat inflation. Among the 12 Olympian gods, who was the brother of Zeus and Hades, married to Amphitrite, symbolized by the horse and bull, and believed to cause earthquakes? Poseidon. Poseidon is the Olympian god of the sea, earthquakes, storms, and horses in Greek mythology. He is one of the big three gods, along with his brothers Zeus, ruler of the sky, and Hades, ruler of the underworld, and wields a trident. The marathon, the longest Olympic running race, is officially 26 miles and 385 yards. What is this distance when converted to the nearest kilometer? 42 kilometers. The standard marathon distance of 26 miles and 385 yards, 42.195 kilometers, was established at the 1908 London Olympics. This specific length was set to accommodate the royal family's desire to start the race at Windsor Castle and finish in front of the royal box at the Olympic Stadium, and it has since been standardized internationally. In 1980, the Olympic Games were boycotted by countries led by the USA in protest against the Soviet-Afghan War. In 1984, they were boycotted by countries led by the USSR, protesting America's attitude towards them. Which country, having undergone a revolution in 1979, was the only one to boycott both events? Iran. The boycotts of the 1980 Moscow Olympics and the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics were significant geopolitical events, reflecting the intense Cold War tensions. Iran's decision to boycott both was rooted in its 1979 Islamic Revolution and its anti-imperialist stance, rejecting both American and Soviet influence. The Haywain and Dedham Valley are renowned paintings by John Constable. Which river, forming a significant portion of the border between Essex and Suffolk, is featured in both? The River Stour. John Constable, 1776–1837, was a prominent English Romantic painter celebrated for his landscape art. The River Stour, flowing through the Dedham Vale area on the border of Essex and Suffolk, was a recurring subject in his work, beautifully capturing the serene rural beauty of his native East Anglia. The cycle path and footpath in Devon, which runs alongside the rivers Tor and Torridge, is named after the eponymous persecuted animal from Henry Williamson's 1927 novel, later adapted into a film in 1979. What is the name of this animal? Taka the Otter. Taka the Otter, His Life and Death in the Country of the Two Rivers, is a classic British children's novel by Henry Williamson, published in 1927. The book vividly portrays the life of an otter named Taka in the rivers of Devon, offering insights into wildlife and the natural environment. For approximately 1,000 kilometers of its length, the Mekong River forms a significant portion of the border between Laos and which other Southeast Asian country? Thailand. The Mekong River is one of Asia's major transboundary rivers, flowing through 6 countries. It plays a crucial role in the geopolitics, ecology, and economies of these nations, notably serving as a natural boundary for an extensive part of its length between Laos and Thailand. The iconic song, Old Man River, originating from the 1927 musical, Showboat, and famously performed by Paul Robeson, refers to which major American river? The Mississippi River. Old Man River is a powerful and poignant song from the musical, Showboat, embodying the struggles and resilience of African Americans in the American South. The Mississippi River serves as a symbolic backdrop, representing both the enduring flow of time and the profound historical burdens it has witnessed. Brittany Ferries provides a direct service for Irish passengers traveling from Cork to which French port located in the Finistère department? Roscoff. Roscoff is a commune in the Finistère department of Brittany, in northwestern France. It serves as an important port for ferry connections to Ireland and the United Kingdom, facilitating trade and tourism between these regions and highlighting its geographical significance. With the name literally meaning 3 planks, what is the 6-letter term for the flat-bottomed boats, typically around 4 meters in length, widely used in Asia for inshore transport and fishing? Sampan. A sampan is a relatively flat-bottomed wooden boat traditionally used in Southeast Asia and parts of East Asia. Primarily used for fishing, local transportation, and sometimes as a dwelling, its design reflects efficient adaptation to shallow waters and coastal environments. What is the name of the Derby-based firm which recently won a £180 million contract to build rail carriages for Southern Rail after losing out on a larger contract earlier in the year to build carriages for the Thames Line? Bombardier. Bombardier Inc. is a multinational aerospace and transportation company, headquartered in Montreal, Canada. Its UK operations, particularly in Derby, have historically been major manufacturers of rolling stock for the British railway network, securing significant infrastructure contracts. What was the name of the aircraft flown on Amy Johnson's solo flight from England to Australia and the yacht sailed by Sir Francis Chichester in his round-the-world voyage? Gypsy Moth. Amy Johnson was a pioneering English aviator who, in 1930, became the first woman to fly solo from England to Australia, completing the journey in her de Havilland Gypsy Moth biplane. Sir Francis Chichester was a celebrated British sailor who completed the first solo circumnavigation of the globe by the Clipper route in 1967 in his yacht, Gypsy Moth IV. Which part of the body can be described as true, false, or floating? Rib. The human rib cage is composed of 12 pairs of ribs, classified based on their attachment to the sternum. The first 7 pairs are true ribs, directly attached, the next 3 are false ribs, attached indirectly via cartilage, and the final 2 are floating ribs, not attached to the sternum at all. 4/3 pi r cubed is a mathematical formula used to calculate the volume of a sphere. If the radius is doubled, by how much does the volume increase? 8 times. The formula for the volume of a sphere is V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. If the radius, r, is doubled to 2r, the new volume 5 becomes 4/3 pi 2r cubed, which simplifies to 4/3 pi 8r cubed. This demonstrates that the new volume is 8 times the original volume. It is the Queen's Diamond Jubilee this year, having acceded to the throne on February 6, 1952. In which year did she become the longest reigning monarch, breaking the record set by Queen Victoria in 1901? 2015. Queen Elizabeth II acceded to the throne on February 6, 1952. On September 9, 2015, she surpassed the reign of her great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, who reigned for 63 years and 216 days, becoming the longest reigning British monarch. Which English author, who died in 1998, published Katie Hannigan in 1950 and the Bill Bailey trilogy between 1986 and 1997? Catherine Cookson. Catherine Cookson was a highly prolific and beloved British author, renowned for her historical romance novels often set in her native northeast England. Her works, such as Katie Hannigan and the Bill Bailey trilogy, sold millions of copies worldwide, establishing her as one of the most widely read novelists of her time. Which small, insect-eating marsupial derives its name from the Telugu word for pig rat? Bandicoot. Bandicoots are small to medium-sized, insectivorous or omnivorous marsupials native to Australia and New Guinea. Their name is widely believed to be derived from the Telugu word, pandikokku, meaning pig rat, originally referring to a different large rodent, but later applied to these marsupials due to their physical characteristics. Painted in 1905, Garçon à la Pipe is a famous painting by which renowned artist who passed away in 1973? Pablo Picasso. Garçon à la Pipe, Boy with a Pipe, is a 1905 oil painting by Pablo Picasso from his Rose period, depicting a Parisian boy holding a pipe and wearing a garland of flowers. This masterpiece is considered one of Picasso's most iconic works from his early career, showcasing his transition from the Blue period. Which country's national flag features a large white crescent and a smaller star, with the crescent offset left of center, on a red background? Turkey. The national flag of Turkey, known as Ay Yıldız, Moon Star, features a white star and crescent on a vibrant red field. The red color symbolizes the blood shed by Turkish martyrs during the War of Independence, while the star and crescent are traditional Ottoman symbols, representing sovereignty and nationhood. Which carnivorous marsupial, roughly the size of a small dog and found primarily in one Australian state, became the largest carnivorous marsupial globally after the extinction of the thylacine in 1936? Tasmanian devil. The Tasmanian devil is a carnivorous marsupial endemic to the Australian island state of Tasmania, known for its stocky build, pungent odor, extremely loud screech, and ferocity when feeding. Following the extinction of the thylacine, Tasmanian tiger, in 1936, it assumed the position of the world's largest carnivorous marsupial. Which distinguished English author, who died in 1991, published acclaimed novels such as A Gun for Sale, in 1936 and The Ministry of Fear, in 1943? Graham Greene. Graham Greene was a prominent English novelist, short story writer, and literary critic, widely regarded as one of the leading English writers of the 20th century. His works, often exploring moral ambiguities and political themes, include A Gun for Sale and The Ministry of Fear, which exemplify his distinctive blend of literary depth and suspense. Which country's national flag is a bicolor of red on top and white below, with a large white crescent and 5 small white stars appearing on the left side of the red background? Singapore. The national flag of Singapore consists of 2 horizontal halves, red above and white below, with a white crescent moon and 5 white stars in the upper left canton. Red symbolizes universal brotherhood and equality of man, while white signifies pervasive purity and virtue. The crescent moon represents a young nation on the ascendant, and the 5 stars embody the nation's ideals of democracy, peace, progress, justice, and equality. Which famous artist, who died in 1919, painted Luncheon of the Boating Party in 1881? Pierre-Auguste Renoir. Pierre-Auguste Renoir was a leading French Impressionist painter known for his vibrant and sensual works. Luncheon of the Boating Party is one of his most celebrated masterpieces, capturing a moment of leisurely social interaction among his friends on a balcony overlooking the Seine River. In which city is the 344-meter-tall John Hancock Center, opened in 1969, located? Chicago. The John Hancock Center, now officially known as 875 North Michigan Avenue, is a prominent skyscraper in Chicago, Illinois. Upon its completion in 1969, it was the second tallest building in the world and remains an iconic part of Chicago's skyline, featuring a distinct X-braced exterior. Which transparent, arc or semicircular instrument, typically made of plastic, is used to measure angles on paper? Protractor. A protractor is a fundamental geometric instrument used for measuring angles in degrees or radians. It is commonly used in mathematics, engineering, and drafting to accurately draw or measure angles, ensuring precision in various technical applications. Opened in 1981, in which city can you find the 309-meter-tall AMP Centrepoint Tower? Sydney. The Sydney Tower, also known as Sydney Tower I or Centrepoint Tower, is the tallest structure in Sydney and the second tallest observation tower in the Southern Hemisphere. Opened in 1981, it stands 309 meters tall and is a prominent landmark offering panoramic views of the city. Which planet in our solar system is situated approximately 228 million kilometers from the Sun? Mars. Mars is the 4th planet from the Sun and the second smallest planet in the solar system. It is known as the red planet due to its iron oxide-rich surface, and its average distance from the Sun is approximately 228 million kilometers. Which planet in our solar system is situated approximately 778 million kilometers from the Sun? Jupiter. Jupiter is the fifth planet from the Sun and the largest in the solar system. This gas giant, with a mass more than 2.5 times that of all other planets combined, orbits at an average distance of approximately 778 million kilometers from the Sun. What is the official name of the hymn that contains the words, bread of heaven, feed me till I want no more? Guide me, O thou great Redeemer. Guide me, O thou great Redeemer, is a renowned Christian hymn, originally penned in Welsh by William Pantycelyn in 1745. The iconic line, bread of heaven, feed me till I want no more, emphasizes a theme of divine sustenance and spiritual reliance. In Morse code, which letter is represented by 4 dots? H. Morse code is a method of encoding text characters into standardized sequences of 2 different signal durations, called dots and dashes. The letter H is uniquely represented by 4 consecutive short pulses, or dots, in the International Morse code system. Which is the largest country situated entirely within Europe, in terms of land area? Ukraine. Ukraine holds the distinction of being the largest country located entirely within Europe by land area. It borders Russia to the east and northeast, making it a significant geopolitical entity in the region. In Morse code, which letter is represented by the sequence dash, dot, dot? Z. Morse code, a method for encoding text characters as standardized sequences of 2 different signal durations, was invented by Samuel Morse. The letter Z is represented by the unique pattern dash, dot, dot. In which year did the Battle of the Alamo take place? 1836. The Battle of the Alamo was a pivotal event in the Texas Revolution, occurring in 1836. Mexican troops under President General Antonio López de Santa Anna launched an assault on the Alamo mission, killing all Texan defenders, but inspiring many Texans to join the fight for independence. Which poisonous compound was used by a religious cult in deadly attacks on the Tokyo subway in 1995? Sarin. Sarin is a potent neurotoxin used in a domestic terrorist attack on the Tokyo subway system in March 1995 by the armed Shinrikyo cult. This chemical weapon is extremely dangerous, affecting the nervous system and causing severe respiratory distress and death. Which highly toxic protein was present on the tip of the umbrella used to kill Bulgarian dissident writer Georgi Markov in 1978? Ricin. Ricin is a highly toxic protein derived from castor beans, famously used in the 1978 assassination of Bulgarian dissident Georgi Markov in London. The incident, known as the Bulgarian umbrella murder, involved a pellet containing ricin being injected into his leg. Which U.S. state shares borders with Michigan, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Kentucky, and Indiana? Ohio. Ohio is a Midwestern U.S. state strategically located with a diverse set of bordering states. Its central position in the industrial and agricultural heartland of the United States makes it a significant geographical and economic hub. Which U.S. state shares borders with Oklahoma, Colorado, Nebraska, and Missouri? Kansas. Kansas, located in the Midwestern United States, is known for its vast plains and agricultural land. Understanding U.S. state geography and its contiguous borders is a common area for general knowledge and competitive exams. Which given name is shared by 2 title characters in Charles Dickens's novel, Dombey and Son? Paul. Charles Dickens's Dombey and Son, 1848, explores themes of pride, family, and commerce in Victorian England. The name, Paul, is significant as it belongs to both Paul Dombey Sr. and his sickly son, Paul Dombey Jr., highlighting the cyclical nature of family expectations and fate within the narrative. In English history, who was the legendary wife of King Leofric, Earl of Mercia? Lady Godiva. Lady Godiva is an Anglo-Saxon noblewoman, renowned for her legendary ride naked through the streets of Coventry to protest her husband Leofric's oppressive taxation. This act of compassion and bravery has become a significant part of English folklore and historical narrative, often symbolizing defiance against injustice. Which vegetable is also commonly known as lady's fingers? Okra. Okra, scientifically known as Abelmuscus esculentus, is a flowering plant in the mallow family. Its edible green seed pods are commonly referred to as lady's fingers due to their slender, elongated shape, making it a popular vegetable in various cuisines globally. Which original ninth planet of our solar system was reclassified as a dwarf planet in 2006? Pluto. Pluto, once considered the ninth planet in our solar system, was reclassified as a dwarf planet by the International Astronomical Union, IAU, in 2006. This decision followed the discovery of other large objects in the Kuiper belt and the establishment of new criteria for defining a planet. Lockjaw is an old-fashioned term for which affliction? Tetanus. Lockjaw is a common name for tetanus, a severe bacterial infection caused by Clostridium tetani. The bacteria produce a potent toxin that affects the nervous system, leading to painful muscle spasms, particularly stiffness in the jaw muscles, hence the term. Which Far Eastern city is served by Narita Airport? Tokyo. Narita International Airport, NRT, is the main international airport serving the Greater Tokyo area in Japan. It is one of the busiest airports globally, handling a significant portion of Japan's international passenger traffic and cargo. Which planet is known as the evening star? Venus. Venus is commonly referred to as the evening star, or the morning star, because of its prominent visibility in the sky shortly after sunset or before sunrise. It is the second planet from the Sun and often the brightest natural object in Earth's night sky after the Moon. To which family of birds does the robin belong? Thrush. The American robin, Turdus migratorius, belongs to the thrush family, Turdidae. While the European robin, Erathucus rubecula, is now classified in the family Muscicapodidae, it was historically grouped with thrushes, and the term robin is broadly associated with the thrush family in general knowledge. Which city is served by Marco Polo Airport? Venice. Marco Polo Airport, VCE, is the international airport serving Venice, Italy. It is named after the famed Venetian explorer Marco Polo, signifying the city's historical importance in trade and exploration. Which Greek mathematician is known as the father of geometry? Euclid. Euclid, an ancient Greek mathematician, is widely recognized as the father of geometry for his monumental work, Elements. This foundational text systematically compiled and organized geometric principles, influencing mathematics for over 2 millennia. Which scientist and inventor became known as the Wizard of Menlo Park? Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, a prolific American inventor and businessman, earned the nickname the Wizard of Menlo Park due to his innovative work at his research laboratory in Menlo Park, New Jersey. His notable inventions include the practical incandescent light bulb and the phonograph. In which Yorkshire town is the Captain Cook Memorial Museum? Whitby. The Captain Cook Memorial Museum is located in Whitby, North Yorkshire, England. This museum commemorates the life and voyages of Captain James Cook, a celebrated British explorer, who began his maritime career in this historic port town. What is the name of the island in the Seine upstream from the Ile de la site in Paris? Ile Saint-Louis. Ile Saint-Louis is one of two natural islands in the Seine River within Paris, situated just upstream from the larger Ile de la Cité. This charming island is renowned for its well-preserved 17th-century architecture and tranquil residential atmosphere. Sarah Woodruff is the eponymous heroine of which classic 20th-century novel? The French Lieutenant's Woman. Sarah Woodruff is the central character in John Fowles's acclaimed 1969 postmodern novel, The French Lieutenant's Woman. The novel is celebrated for its metafictional structure, exploration of Victorian society, and complex narrative. In Morse code, which letter of the alphabet is designated by a single dash? T. In International Morse code, the letter T is represented by a single dash. Morse code is a telecommunication method that encodes text characters as standardized sequences of two different signal durations, dots and dashes. Which volcanic feature derives its name from the Spanish word for cooking pot? Caldera. A caldera is a large, basin-shaped depression formed when the roof of a magma chamber collapses after an explosive volcanic eruption. Its name, derived from the Spanish caldera, meaning cooking pot, aptly describes its characteristic bowl-like shape. On board which United States ship was the Japanese instrument of surrender signed in 1945? USS Missouri. The formal surrender of Japan, marking the official end of World War II, took place on September 2, 1945, aboard the battleship USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay. General Douglas MacArthur presided over the ceremony, accepting the surrender on behalf of the Allied powers. The Card Players and The Boy in the Red Vest are notable works by which 19th-century French artist? Paul Cézanne. Paul Cézanne was a renowned French artist and a pivotal figure in the transition from 19th-century Impressionism to early 20th-century Cubism. His distinctive style, characterized by structured compositions and a focus on geometric forms, profoundly influenced the development of modern art. Which alkaloid, known for its bitter taste and antimalarial properties, is present in tonic water? Quinine. Quinine is an alkaloid historically derived from the bark of the cinchona tree, revered for its medicinal properties, particularly in treating malaria. It is added to tonic water in small concentrations for its distinct bitter flavor and is responsible for the drink's characteristic fluorescence under ultraviolet light. The Arc de Triomphe, from which numerous thoroughfares radiate, is situated in which Parisian square? Place Charles de Gaulle, formerly Place de l'Étoile. The iconic Arc de Triomphe stands majestically at the center of the Place Charles de Gaulle, originally known as Place de l'Étoile due to the 12 avenues radiating from it like a star. This monument commemorates those who fought and died for France in the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars. From which specific flower is the prized spice saffron derived? Crocus sativus, saffron crocus. Saffron, recognized as the world's most expensive spice by weight, is meticulously harvested from the stigma and styles of the Crocus sativus flower. Each flower produces only 3 tiny stigmas, requiring immense manual labor for cultivation and harvesting, which contributes significantly to its high market value. Fester is a notable jester character in which of William Shakespeare's celebrated comedies? Twelfth Night. Fester is the witty and often melancholic jester in William Shakespeare's romantic comedy, Twelfth Night, or What You Will. As a professional fool, Fester uses his intelligence, songs, and satirical observations to comment on the play's events and characters, often revealing deeper truths than the more serious figures. What special infantry brigade was founded in the Far East by Ord Wingate in World War II? CHINDITS. The Chindits were a British Special Operations Force established during World War II, primarily operating behind Japanese lines in Burma. Led by Major General Ord Wingate, they were known for their long-range penetration tactics and guerrilla warfare, significantly disrupting enemy supply and communication lines. According to the Chinese, 2012 was the year of which mythical creature? Dragon. The Chinese zodiac operates on a 12-year cycle, with each year associated with an animal sign. The dragon is considered one of the most auspicious and powerful signs, symbolizing good fortune, strength, and prosperity in Chinese culture. What sort of professional people are allowed to place green flashing lights on their cars? Doctors. In many jurisdictions, authorized medical practitioners, particularly doctors on call for emergencies, are permitted to display green flashing lights on their vehicles. This indicates their professional status and may grant certain courtesies or allowances in traffic, though it does not typically confer the same rights as emergency service vehicles. What name was given to the fast, light ships famously used to transport tea from China in the 19th century? Clippers. Clipper ships were fast, slender sailing vessels from the 19th century, specifically designed for speed to transport perishable goods like tea. They played a crucial role in maritime trade, especially in the competitive tea races from China to European and American markets. Who famously stole the Mona Lisa in 1911? Vincenzo Peruggia. The Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre Museum in 1911 by Vincenzo Peruggia, an Italian museum worker. Peruggia believed the masterpiece rightfully belonged to Italy and was eventually apprehended when he attempted to sell it 2 years later. In which building is Lord Nelson buried? St. Paul's Cathedral. Admiral Lord Horatio Nelson, a celebrated figure in British naval history, is interred in the crypt of St. Paul's Cathedral in London. His tomb is a prominent national memorial, commemorating his decisive victory and death at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. Which of Beethoven's symphonies is also known as the Pastoral Symphony? Symphony No. 6. Ludwig van Beethoven's Symphony No. 6 in F major, Opus 68, is known as the Pastoral Symphony. This programmatic work evokes feelings of the countryside, depicting scenes like a joyful gathering of country folk and a thunder storm. It is a significant work in classical music history, showcasing Beethoven's descriptive musical capabilities. Edmond Dantes is the protagonist of which famous French novel? The Count of Monte Cristo. Edmond Dantes is the central character in Alexandre Dumas's classic adventure novel, The Count of Monte Cristo. First published serially from 1844 to 1846, the novel tells the story of Dante's unjust imprisonment, escape, and meticulous revenge on those who wronged him, making it a timeless work of French literature. What is the primary ingredient of mock turtle soup? Calf's head. Mock turtle soup is a traditional British soup created in the 18th century as a more affordable substitute for green turtle soup, which was an expensive delicacy. It primarily uses a calf's head to mimic the texture and richness of turtle meat, often incorporating spices and wine for flavor. This dish highlights culinary innovations driven by economic factors and changing food trends. Which natural substance, found in many fruits, causes jams and jellies to set? Pectin. Pectin is a naturally occurring polysaccharide found in the cell walls of many fruits, particularly apples, citrus, and quince. When heated in the presence of sugar and acid, pectin forms a gel-like matrix, which is crucial for the setting of jams, jellies, and marmalades. It acts as a gelling agent, thickening and stabilizing the fruit preparations. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine collectively form which group of chemical elements? Halogens. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine are elements that belong to group 17 of the periodic table, collectively known as the halogens. These highly reactive non-metallic elements are characterized by their tendency to form salts with metals, and they have diverse applications in industries ranging from disinfectants to lighting. Which prominent English royal palace was largely destroyed by fire in 1698? Whitehall Palace. Whitehall Palace, once the largest palace in Europe and the principal residence of English monarchs from 1530 to 1698, was largely destroyed by fire on January 4, 1698. The fire, which burned for 17 hours, left only the banqueting house standing. This event marked a significant turning point in the history of British royal residences. In heraldry, how is a lion coward depicted? With its tail between its legs. Heraldry is the art and science of devising, displaying, and granting armorial bearings. A lion coward is a specific heraldic posture for a lion, showing it with its tail tucked between its legs, which is traditionally interpreted as a symbol of cowardice or submissiveness. 31. Toad Lane, Rochdale was the address of the first branch of which organization? The Cooperative Society. The Rochdale pioneers founded the first modern cooperative society at 31 Toad Lane in Rochdale, England, in 1844. This event is widely recognized as the birthplace of the modern cooperative movement, laying down principles that continue to guide cooperatives worldwide. Saint-Étienne is the capital of which French department that shares its name with the country's longest river? Loire. Saint-Étienne is the capital city of the Loire department in the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region of central France. The department is named after the Loire River, which is the longest river in France, flowing approximately 1,020 kilometers. The adult male of which animal is known as a silverback? Gorilla. A silverback refers to an adult male gorilla, specifically the dominant male within a group. This term is derived from the distinctive patch of silver hair that develops on their backs and hips as they mature, signifying their age and leadership. What French term describes the large excursion boats on which sightseers travel up and down the Seine in Paris? Bateau mouches. Bateau mouches are popular open excursion boats that offer sightseeing tours along the Seine River in Paris. These boats provide tourists with panoramic views of famous landmarks such as the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame Cathedral, and the Louvre Museum. During the reign of which Roman emperor was Christ crucified? Tiberius. Jesus Christ was crucified during the reign of the Roman Emperor Tiberius, who ruled from 14 AD to 37 AD. Pontius Pilate, the Roman prefect of Judea, authorized the crucifixion during this period. Which Roman emperor was also known as Octavius? Augustus. Augustus, the first Roman emperor, was born Gaius Octavius. After his adoption by Julius Caesar, he became Gaius Julius Caesar Octaviano, and later received the honorific title of Augustus from the Roman Senate. Which calamity in Ireland was a major factor in Sir Robert Peel's decision to repeal the Corn Laws in 1846? Irish Potato Famine. The Irish Potato Famine, and Gorta Mór, which began in 1845, was a period of mass starvation and disease in Ireland. This crisis profoundly influenced Prime Minister Sir Robert Peel's decision to repeal the protectionist Corn Laws in 1846, allowing for cheaper grain imports to alleviate the food shortage. In heraldry, what is signified by the term statant? Standing still. The term statant in heraldry refers to an animal standing on all 4 feet, often depicted looking straight ahead. Heraldry is a system of visual identification through symbols, primarily coats of arms, with precise terminology for animal postures and other charges. For the manufacture of what product did Sir Alistair Pilkington develop the float process? Glass. Sir Alistair Pilkington developed the revolutionary float glass process in 1959, which became the global standard for manufacturing high-quality flat glass. This method involves floating molten glass over a bed of molten tin, producing a smooth, uniform sheet without the need for grinding or polishing. Which town in Hertfordshire was built in 1903 as England's first garden city? Letchworth. Letchworth Garden City, founded in 1903, holds the distinction of being the world's first garden city, based on the ideals of Ebenezer Howard. It was designed to combine the benefits of both urban and rural living, featuring green spaces, plant communities, and a balanced environment. Originally standing in front of Buckingham Palace, what landmark was removed to Hyde Park in 1851? Marble Arch. Marble Arch, a prominent landmark in London, was initially designed by John Nash as the monumental gateway to Buckingham Palace. It was relocated to its current site at the northeastern corner of Hyde Park in 1851 to accommodate the expansion of Buckingham Palace's east front. Who was the Work and Pensions Secretary? Ian Duncan Smith. Ian Duncan Smith served as the UK's Secretary of State for Work and Pensions from 2010 to 2016. This cabinet position oversees welfare, pensions, and employment policy, playing a critical role in the administration of social security and labour market interventions. Which system of physical fitness, designed to increase strength and flexibility, was originally known by the term contrology? Pilates. Pilates, a comprehensive system of physical fitness, was developed by Joseph Pilates in the early 20th century, who initially named his method contrology. It emphasizes core strength, flexibility, balance, and controlled movements, aiming to integrate mind and body. Which ancient city in the Middle East did poet John William Burgon describe as a rose-red city half as old as time? Petra. Petra is a famous archaeological city in modern-day Jordan, renowned for its unique rock-cut architecture and sophisticated water system. The British poet John William Burgon immortalized it with the evocative phrase, "a rose-red city half as old as time," in his 1845 poem. Which British zoo hosted two giant pandas on loan from China? Edinburgh. Edinburgh Zoo hosted two giant pandas, Tian Tian and Yang Wang, from China on a 10-year loan starting in 2011, which was later extended until 2023. This arrangement was part of a global conservation breeding program, highlighting international efforts to protect endangered species and foster diplomatic relations. The Virgin's house and the ruins of the Temple of Artemis can be found in which city in Turkey? Ephesus. Ephesus is an ancient Greek city on the coast of Ionia, renowned for housing the Temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. It is also significant for its early Christian history, with the nearby Virgin Mary's house revered as a pilgrimage site. What is the International Vehicle Registration Code for Switzerland? CH. The International Vehicle Registration Code, CH, stands for Confederatio Helvetica, the Latin name for the Swiss Confederation. These codes are part of international agreements to identify the country of registration for vehicles in international traffic. By what name was the B-24, the most numerous Allied heavy bomber of World War II, better known? The Liberator. The consolidated B-24 Liberator was an American heavy bomber, produced in greater numbers than any other American aircraft during World War II. It played a crucial role in various theaters, including strategic bombing, anti-submarine warfare, and transport. On exhibition since 1802, what is believed to be the most visited object in the British Museum? The Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone is an ancient Egyptian stele inscribed with a decree issued in 196 BC, written in 3 scripts, hieroglyphic, demotic, and ancient Greek. Its discovery provided the key to deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphs, unlocking centuries of lost knowledge. Which organ that develops in pregnant women provides the unborn baby with nourishment and oxygen? Placenta. The placenta is a vital temporary organ that develops in the uterus during pregnancy, connecting the mother and fetus via the umbilical cord. It facilitates the transfer of oxygen and nutrients from the mother to the baby, while also removing waste products from the fetal blood. What was the more common name for the German World War II dive bomber, the Junkers Ju-87? Stuka. The Junkers Ju-87, commonly known as the Stuka, a contraction of Sturzkampfflugzeug, dive bomber, was a German dive bomber and ground attack aircraft used during World War II. Its distinctive design and Jericho trumpet siren became symbols of blitzkrieg. Which inventor, in 1876, uttered the famous words, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want you"? Alexander Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell is widely credited with inventing the first practical telephone. The famous phrase was spoken during his first successful telephone call to his assistant, Thomas A. Watson, marking a pivotal moment in the history of telecommunications. What species of animal was 4-year-old Nert, who died in Berlin Zoo in 2011? Polar bear. Nert was a polar bear born in captivity at the Berlin Zoological Garden. He gained international fame after being rejected by his mother and subsequently hand-reared, becoming a global media phenomenon and symbol for wildlife conservation efforts. Often referred to by trainers in gyms, for what do the letters BMI stand in regard to physical fitness? Body Mass Index. Body Mass Index, BMI, is a measure used to assess whether a person's weight is healthy in relation to their height. It is calculated by dividing an individual's weight in kilograms by the square of their height in meters, providing a general indicator of obesity or underweight status. In which English county is Borstal, which gave its name to young offenders institutions? Kent. Borstal is a village in Kent, England, which became notable for establishing the first Borstal institution in 1902. The Borstal system was a specific type of custodial sentence in the UK for young offenders, focusing on reformative training and education rather than punitive measures. What is the International Vehicle Registration Code for Gibraltar? GBZ. International Vehicle Registration Codes are distinguishing signs displayed on motor vehicles in international traffic, standardized under the Vienna Convention on Road Traffic. GBZ is the unique code assigned to Gibraltar, a British overseas territory located at the southern tip of the Iberian Peninsula. Which slang word for prison comes from the name of an old jail in South London? Clink. The slang term, clink, for prison is derived from the Clink Prison, one of England's oldest and most notorious prisons, which operated in Southwark, London, from the 12th century until 1780. The prison was infamous for its harsh conditions and was located within the liberty of the Clink. Which is the largest lake in South America by volume? Lake Titicaca. Lake Titicaca, situated in the Andes Mountains on the border of Peru and Bolivia, holds the distinction of being the largest lake in South America by both volume and surface area. It is also widely recognized as the highest navigable lake in the world, playing a significant role in regional ecology and indigenous cultures. Which type of zebra was hunted to extinction in the 19th century? Quagga. The quagga was a distinct subspecies of the plains zebra, native to South Africa, characterized by its unique striped pattern that faded towards its hindquarters. Unfortunately, intensive hunting by European settlers for its meat and hide led to its extinction, with the last known wild specimen dying in 1878 and the last captive individual in 1883. In Indian cooking, what type of food is bhatura? Bread. Bhatura, or bhatura, is a popular deep-fried, leavened bread that originates from the Indian subcontinent. It is a staple in North Indian cuisine, most famously served as part of the chole bhature dish, which pairs it with a spicy chickpea curry, offering a rich and fulfilling meal. Which Irish airport has the three-letter ITA code KER? Kerry Airport. Kerry Airport, KER, is a regional airport located in Farranfore, County Kerry, Ireland. It is primarily used for flights to and from the UK and mainland Europe, serving as a gateway to the southwest of Ireland. Which English novelist, 1883 to 1959, is best known for creating the master criminal character Fu Manchu? Sax Rohmer. Sax Rohmer was the pen name of Arthur Henry Sarsfield Ward, an English novelist prolific in the early 20th century. He is primarily remembered for his series of novels featuring the Chinese master criminal Dr. Fu Manchu, which significantly influenced pulp fiction. Which novelist is known for writing the best-selling 2003 novel The Kite Runner? Khaled Hosseini. Khaled Hosseini is an Afghan-American novelist and physician. His debut novel, The Kite Runner, published in 2003, became an international bestseller and was later adapted into a film. The book explores themes of friendship, betrayal, and redemption against the backdrop of Afghanistan's turbulent history. Which Irish airport has the three-letter ITA code SNN? Shannon Airport. Shannon Airport, SNN, is one of Ireland's three main international airports, located in County Clare, serving the Midwest region. It is historically significant for being the first airport in the world to offer U.S. Customs and Border pre-clearance facilities to commercial passengers in 2009. In Indian cuisine, what type of food is rasgulla? A sweet made from chhena, Indian cottage cheese. Rasgulla is a popular Indian sweet originating from the eastern regions of the Indian subcontinent, particularly Bengal and Orissa. It is made from ball-shaped dumplings of chhena, Indian cottage cheese, cooked in a light sugar syrup, known for its spongy texture and sweet taste. Eleanor of Castile was the queen consort of which English king? Edward I. Eleanor of Castile was the first queen consort of King Edward I of England, married in 1254. She was known for her intelligence and influence, often accompanying Edward on military campaigns. After her death, Edward erected the famous Eleanor crosses across England in her memory.